Welcome the rare gems. Have you ever asked yourself why some women choose the harder road of solitude when the world constantly pressures everyone to belong somewhere? That choice is not about being cold or distant. It is about protecting their freedom, their peace, and their ability to move without chains. That is the path of the Sigma female. This video is not for everyone. It is not for those who need constant company to feel complete, or for those who follow the noise of the crowd without ever questioning where it is leading them. It is for the loners, the thinkers, the ones who would rather be alone than surrounded by people who drain them. If that sounds like you, then you are exactly where you need to be. The Sigma female is not defined by how many people admire her or how many places she is invited to. Her strength comes from the fact that she can stand on her own and still thrive. She knows silence can be powerful. She knows freedom comes when you refuse to be controlled, and she knows that choosing the lonely road today can lead to a life of clarity tomorrow. If you are walking this path, do not think of yourself as odd. Think of yourself as rare. What you carry within you is not meant to be understood by everyone, but it is exactly what makes you unstoppable. Let's dive into it, the rare gems. Number 1. Her mind works like a hidden labyrinth, every path designed with purpose, every dead end intentionally placed to protect her true intentions. On the surface, you may think you understand her, but the truth is, you are only standing at the entrance of that maze. The Sigma female is not complicated in the way people often misuse that word. She is deliberate. She knows exactly why she allows some people closer while leaving others lost at the first turn. Think of it like a phone with 2 passwords. You give someone the first one and they feel special. They can see your photos, maybe even your music playlists. But there is another password, a deeper one, and that is where the real files are kept. That is how her mind works. Most people never get past the outer lock, and honestly, she prefers it that way. In everyday life, this might look like her listening more than she speaks at work meetings, making others think she is simply quiet. What they don't realize is that she is mapping every word, weighing motives, and deciding what should be remembered and what should be ignored. Or when someone tries to get too familiar too quickly, she will politely smile, but in her head, she has already marked that person as reckless and moved them into the not-to-be-trusted corner of her labyrinth. There is humor in this too. Imagine someone bragging endlessly, thinking they are impressing her. Meanwhile, in her mind, she has already walked 3 steps ahead, left them talking to themselves, and is secretly planning what to cook for dinner. That is the beauty of her maze. She protects herself with it, but she also entertains herself with it. Her labyrinth is not a trap, it is her shield. It keeps her power intact, her choices clear, and her freedom untouched. And if you ever find yourself inside it, understand one thing. You are there because she chose to open the right door, not because you found the way in. Number 2. She knows that to win in life, one must sometimes lose willingly, giving up small battles to secure the larger war. This is a truth many people struggle with because pride convinces them they must fight every fight, win every argument, and prove themselves in every moment. The Sigma female understands that constant battles drain energy and blur the bigger picture. She knows when to step back, not because she is weak, but because she is conserving her strength for what truly matters. Think of it like playing a long game of chess. Sometimes you sacrifice a pawn. It is not because you do not care about the pawn, but because you see the move 3 steps ahead that sets up checkmate. Life works the same way. She is willing to let someone believe they got the better of her today if it means she secures something far greater tomorrow. You can see this in everyday life. Imagine an argument with a coworker who is obsessed with being right. While others might waste time trading words, she nods, lets them feel victorious, and quietly uses her freed energy to finish the actual work that gets noticed by the boss. Who really wins in the end? Not the one shouting. Here is where the humor comes in. Picture someone gloating after beating her in a debate over something trivial like which restaurant serves better fries. Outwardly, she smiles and lets them have the crown. Inwardly, she is thinking, "Enjoy your fries. I am already planning the whole meal." Her wisdom lies in knowing that life is not scored by small skirmishes, but by how you position yourself for the final outcome. To her, losing is not failure. It is strategy. It is choosing peace over pointless noise and saving energy for the battles that actually shape her future. Number 3. She does not compete for attention. She competes only with her own standard of excellence. While most people measure success by how many eyes are watching them, the Sigma female measures it by how close she is to the bar she has set for herself. And that bar is not low. It is often so high that others get tired just thinking about reaching it. This mindset makes her unpredictable. She is not interested in winning races that lead nowhere. If she runs, it is because the finish line matters to her. Imagine a marathon where everyone is sprinting toward free t-shirts at the end. She is the one who says, "You know what, keep the shirt. I am training for something bigger." In everyday life, this shows up in small but powerful ways. At work, she does not care if people notice she stayed late. She cares if the project looks like the version she envisioned in her mind. In relationships, she is not interested in showing off a picture-perfect bond online. She is interested in whether that bond is real when nobody else is watching. Here is the humor. Picture her in a group where everyone is bragging about who has the newest phone. She quietly checks her older phone, sees that it still works perfectly, and thinks, "Congratulations, you just bought another charger you will lose in 2 days." Her competition is not about shiny upgrades, but about living on her own terms. Her strength lies in refusing to play by rules that drain her energy. She competes only with yesterday's version of herself, and that is why she keeps growing. She is never distracted by the noise of comparison. Instead, she is locked in a private contest, raising her own standards higher and higher until she stands where very few can reach. Number 4. She does not need to announce her strength. Her absence alone can dismantle someone who once thought they owned her. People often confuse presence with power, but real power is proven when someone is no longer around. The Sigma female knows this truth all too well. She understands that sometimes walking away is louder than any words she could ever say. Think about it. When someone is constantly available, people take them for granted. But the moment they step back, suddenly there is a silence that speaks louder than arguments. It is like when your favorite restaurant suddenly closes for renovations. You did not think much about it when it was open every day, but now that the doors are shut, you realize just how much you miss it. In relationships, this plays out clearly. Maybe someone underestimated her loyalty, thinking she would always stick around no matter how they behaved. Then, one day, without a dramatic scene, she is gone. No calls, no texts, no explanations. That silence leaves the other person unraveling, replaying every mistake, trying to figure out where they went wrong. Her absence becomes a mirror that forces them to face their own flaws. Here is where the humor sneaks in. Imagine someone bragging to their friends that they had her wrapped around their finger. A few weeks later, that same person is scrolling through old photos at 2 in the morning, eating ice cream straight from the tub, whispering, "Why did she leave?" The irony writes itself. Her strength is not in chasing closure or proving a point. It is in knowing that her withdrawal can do what her presence never could. It exposes dependency, it reveals weakness, and it leaves behind a lesson no one forgets. That is why she never needs to announce her power. Her silence already does the talking. Number 5. She knows people fear what they cannot control, and she makes sure she remains ungovernable. The Sigma female understands that the quickest way to lose yourself is to let someone else write your rules. That is why she protects her independence the way others protect their valuables. Once you give someone the power to dictate your choices, you stop being the author of your own life. She refuses to let that happen. You see this everywhere in everyday life. At work, managers often love employees who are predictable, the kind who can be told what to do and will never question it. She is polite, yes, but she will never let her creativity be boxed in. If the instructions do not make sense, she finds her own smarter way to get the job done. People might whisper that she is hard to manage, but deep down, they respect her because she delivers results on her own terms. In relationships, it is the same. Some people try to test her boundaries, hoping to tie her down with guilt, drama, or constant demands. What they discover is that the more they try to control her, the further she drifts. Like trying to hold water in your hands, the tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Now here comes the humor. Imagine someone thinking they have figured her out, telling their friends, "Don't worry, she always does what I say." A week later, she has blocked their number, booked a solo trip, and is probably sipping coffee somewhere, completely unbothered. That is her style. Her ungovernable nature is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is wisdom. She knows control breeds fear, and people who fear losing control often reveal their true colors. By refusing to be owned, she forces everyone around her to deal with her on equal terms. And that, in itself, is power. Number 6. She understands that comfort creates weakness, so she willingly chooses the harder path to stay sharp. While most people are chasing the softest couch, the easiest shortcut, or the fastest escape from effort, the Sigma female knows that too much ease dulls the spirit. Growth rarely happens in the places where everything is smooth and predictable. That is why she does not fear struggle. She uses it. Think about exercise. If you only lift the weights that feel light, your muscles never grow. It is the resistance, the heavy lift, that forces strength to develop. She applies the same principle to life. When others take the shortcut, she sometimes takes the longer route, not because she enjoys suffering, but because she knows the reward is different. You see this in everyday choices. At work, she may volunteer for the project that everyone avoids because it looks complicated. While others breathe easy, she digs in, knowing that the challenge will sharpen her skills and set her apart. In personal life, she might choose to save and build rather than spend and indulge, because she sees the bigger picture of discipline leading to freedom. Here's the humor. Imagine someone telling her, "Why stress yourself when there's an easier way?" She smiles, but in her head, she is thinking, "Because your easy way is why you panic when life throws you a curveball." Her wisdom is in understanding that comfort feels good in the moment, but leaves you unprepared when real tests come. She trains herself the way a warrior sharpens a blade, not for show, but for readiness. By choosing the harder path today, she ensures that tomorrow's storms will not break her. Comfort may give pleasure, but challenge gives strength, and she knows which one lasts longer. Number 7. She studies people the way a strategist studies maps, always looking for the hidden patterns that reveal their true nature. While most are distracted by what is loud and obvious, the Sigma female pays attention to the quiet details. She knows that people are like cities. On the surface, you see the tall buildings and the shiny lights, but if you trace the back streets and alleys, you find the truth about how that city really functions. She watches more than she speaks, and that alone gives her an advantage. At work, while others are busy trying to impress the boss with big speeches, she notices which colleague always forgets to give credit, and which one pretends to be busy whenever responsibility shows up. It is like watching a map unfold. The highways are easy to spot, but it is the hidden routes that show you how to actually get where you want to go. In relationships, she uses this same gift. Someone may say all the right words, but she pays attention to the patterns. Do they disappear whenever times are tough? Do they only show up when they need something? Words may disguise, but patterns always reveal. Now, for the humor. Imagine someone trying to fool her with fake kindness, bringing her coffee every morning. She might smile and say thanks, but in her head she is already noting, "You are too generous. Either you want my soul or my Netflix password." Her way of studying people is not paranoia, it is clarity. By observing patterns, she protects herself from manipulation and invests her energy where it is truly valued. Just as a strategist never enters a battle without knowing the terrain, she never trusts blindly. She reads the map first, and that is why she rarely gets lost in the games people play. Number 8. She embraces being underestimated because it gives her the freedom to move without being monitored. Most people hate being overlooked. They crave recognition, applause, and constant reminders that they are doing well. The Sigma female sees it differently. To her, being underestimated is not an insult, it is a gift. When people assume she is ordinary, she gains the advantage of operating in silence, without anyone watching her every move. Think of it like a magician hiding the real trick while distracting the audience with something shiny. While others focus on what they think they know about her, she is already 3 steps ahead, setting the stage for an outcome no one expects. You can see this in everyday life. At work, colleagues might dismiss her as quiet or unambitious, only to be shocked when her project outshines theirs. In relationships, someone may assume she will always be available, only to realize too late that she has already stepped back and moved on with her peace intact. Here is the humor. Picture someone underestimating her in a board game, saying, "You don't look like you know how to play this." 15 minutes later, she has wiped them off the board and is quietly sipping her drink, pretending it was all luck. What others see as weakness, she turns into camouflage. She knows that once people underestimate you, they stop guarding against you. That gives her room to think, to plan, and to act without interference. By the time they realize she was never as simple as they assumed, it is too late. Her strength is not in demanding to be seen. It is in using invisibility as strategy. Being underestimated frees her from expectations, and that freedom is where her real power grows. Number 9. She doesn't chase power in public arenas. Her power lies in mastering herself, which makes her untouchable. For most people, power means climbing ladders, collecting titles, or having the loudest voice in the room. The Sigma female has little interest in that kind of performance. She knows those arenas are crowded, noisy, and full of fragile egos waiting to collapse. Her power does not come from applause or position. It comes from discipline, self-control, and the ability to remain steady when everyone else is shaken. Think about it like this. In a storm, some people build bigger boats to show off, hoping others will admire their strength. She would rather master the art of sailing quietly, knowing she can handle the waves without making a scene. One looks impressive, the other survives. In everyday life, this shows clearly. At work, she may not fight for attention during meetings, but when the project is falling apart, people turn to her because she kept her focus, while others chased recognition. In personal life, she does not need to post proof of her happiness online. Her calmness and stability already speak for themselves to anyone close enough to notice. Here's the humor. Imagine everyone around her rushing to be in charge of a group project while she stays quiet. A week later, when their grand plans collapse, she is the one with the actual solution, thinking to herself, "And this is why I do not fight over titles." Her mastery is not about controlling others, but about mastering her impulses, her reactions, and her time. That is why she cannot be manipulated easily. Power rooted in self-mastery is not something anyone can take away. It makes her untouchable, because while others are busy chasing crowns, she already carries her kingdom within her. Number 10. Her independence terrifies others since most people cannot survive without constant validation. The Sigma female moves differently because she does not measure her worth by how many people are clapping for her. While others rely on approval like oxygen, she knows how to breathe on her own. That freedom unsettles people who cannot imagine living without reassurance. You can see this in everyday situations. At work, most people want constant recognition from their boss to feel like they are doing well. She, on the other hand, already knows whether her work meets her standard before anyone says a word. When others wait for applause, she is already on to the next task. In friendships, people often expect constant check-ins to feel valued. She might not message every day, yet when she does, her words carry weight. Some find that distance hard to handle because they mistake it for indifference. Her independence also shows in how she makes decisions. Imagine a group planning a trip. Everyone is panicking about whether they should go here or there, waiting to see what the majority wants. Meanwhile, she has already booked her flight, her hotel, and probably packed her bag. When the group is still arguing, she is halfway to the airport. Here's the humor. Picture someone trying to guilt-trip her by saying, "You don't need anyone, do you?" In her head, she is thinking, "I need food, water, and Wi-Fi. The rest is optional." Her independence does not mean she rejects people. It means she is not dependent on them to define her, and that is what unsettles others. People who rely on approval struggle to understand someone who stands solid without it. Her independence is not arrogance. It is clarity. It is the rare ability to know she is enough on her own, and that quiet certainty is what makes her unforgettable. Number 11. She is never desperate for belonging because she has mastered the art of walking alone without feeling incomplete. Most people panic at the thought of being alone. They rush to fill the silence with company, even if the company drains them. The Sigma female is different. She knows that being alone is not the same as being lonely. In fact, she treats solitude like a skill she has sharpened over time. Think of it like dining at a restaurant. Some people would rather sit with people they barely know than be seen eating alone. She has no such fear. She can sit at a table by herself, enjoy her meal, and even laugh quietly at her own thoughts without feeling awkward. That ability unsettles others because they rely on belonging to feel worthy. She relies on herself. In everyday life, this independence shows up in subtle ways. If her friends cancel plans, she does not sulk or beg for replacements. She happily turns the night into her own adventure, maybe catching up on a book or binge-watching that series she has been putting off. Where others see emptiness, she sees freedom. Here's the humor. Imagine someone asking her, "Don't you get bored being by yourself?" She smiles, but inside she is thinking, "No, I am excellent company. You should try hanging out with me." Her ability to walk alone without feeling incomplete is not about rejecting people. It is about knowing that her worth is not tied to constant companionship. When she chooses to share her space, it is out of genuine desire, not fear of being left out, and that makes her presence even more valuable. Because a person who does not need belonging can never be controlled by the threat of exclusion. She belongs to herself first, and that is the most powerful belonging of all. Number 12. She uses observation as her weapon, learning far more by watching quietly than others do by speaking endlessly. While most people rush to fill silence with chatter, she lets the silence do the heavy lifting. She knows that people reveal more when they are not aware they are being studied. A nervous laugh, a slight pause before answering, even the way someone looks at their phone during a conversation. These little details are gold to her. It is like playing a card game. Everyone else is busy showing their excitement, bragging about their hands and giving away their strategies. She just sits back, eyes sharp, collecting information until she knows the exact moment to make her move. In daily life, this shows up in ordinary situations. At work, while others are fighting for attention in meetings, she is quietly noticing who agrees too quickly, who hesitates before backing a decision, and who avoids eye contact when responsibility is mentioned. By the time the meeting ends, she already knows who is reliable, who is weak under pressure, and who is playing politics. Here is the funny part. People often assume she is quiet because she has nothing to add. Little do they know she has already taken mental notes that could outmatch hours of their loud debates. It is like being the only person in a group project who actually reads the assignment while everyone else just talks about how hard it looks. Her power lies in her patience. She does not waste energy proving herself with endless words. Instead, she lets others expose themselves, and when the time comes, she acts with precision. That is why her silence is not emptiness. It is strategy. And the ones who overlook her in those quiet moments often end up realizing too late that she was the only one truly paying attention. In final words, have you ever stopped to wonder why the loner path feels so heavy at times, yet so strangely freeing? The truth is, it is not meant for everyone. It demands discipline, clarity, and a kind of courage that cannot be borrowed from the crowd. This is why the Sigma female often walks where few dare to step. The world will keep shouting, keep trying to pull you into its endless noise, keep demanding that you play roles you never asked for, but your strength is in knowing when to stay silent, when to pull back, and when to move with precision. That silence is not weakness, it is your shield. That independence is not emptiness, it is your foundation. Yes, it can feel lonely at times. Yes, you will be misunderstood more often than celebrated. But remind yourself that only a rare kind of person can stand apart without losing herself, and that rarity is what makes your presence impossible to replace. So if you ever feel doubt creeping in, remember this. You are not walking away from people. You are walking toward yourself. You are not running from connection. You are choosing the kind of connection that does not demand you to trade your soul for acceptance. This video is not for everyone. It is for the loners, the quiet architects of their own destiny, the ones Machiavelli himself would have admired for their strategy and restraint. And if you are one of them, take pride, because your path, while rare, is the one that keeps you truly free. Thank you for watching the Rare Gems, and God bless you.